Hello, everyone. Our webinar series called 5 O'Clock Tea Talk reached its 23rd episode, and our guest is Nate Regier today. Let me introduce him first. Nate Regier is the CEO and founding owner of Next Element, a global leadership training and consulting firm. Nate is an expert in compassionate accountability, a groundbreaking approach that combines compassion and accountability to enhance leadership effectiveness and conflict resolution. Over the last 20 years, Nate has guided numerous organizations in creating safe, inclusive, and high performing work environments. His method emphasizes developing people's capabilities and focusing on what truly matters, resulting in significant improvements in leadership skills and teamwork. Nate's client list includes prominent names such as Healthcare Corporate of America, Ascension Health, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and many others. His versatile approach has been embraced by organizations across healthcare, service, and manufacturing sectors. And I'm quoting his philosophy on compassionate accountability. Compassion isn't about being nice, it's about valuing people as capable and responsible in every interaction. That's the key to building a culture where everyone can flourish. We are so fortunate to have you here with us today, Nate. Thank you for accepting our invitation to this event. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm great today. It's good to be with you and good to be with your audience today.
Thank you. And before we begin, I'd like to encourage our audience. Please hit the subscribe button on our channel for more insightful sessions like this. Don't miss out on this enlightening 5 o'clock tea talks. Hit the notification bell if you may, and remember to subscribe. For more great content, visit the coachmagazine.com and enjoy our quarterly magazines. So I'm starting with my first question. We don't have many times. We had some technical problems in the beginning, so I'm going straight in. So, Nate, you developed a unique concept called compassionate accountability. Could you explain how this approach addresses the common tension leaders feel between building relationship and achieving results?
Yes, this is a tension that we see people experiencing around the world, and this concept is not exclusively my invention. Our team at Next Element has been working on this for almost 15 years.
Okay.
And one of the things that we see is that leaders around the world, they want to have good relationships and they also want to get results. And when tensions rise, when there's conflict, when we're under pressure, a lot of leaders feel like they have to choose either preserve the relationship or we have to get things done. And what we've noticed is that if you choose one or the other, then the result everything suffers. And so we have developed a method where you don't have to choose, and leaders don't have to compromise one for the other because there is ways to be able to build relationships and also get results at the same time.
Mhm. Wow, I'm very intrigued by this technique. So I hope you will talk about it a little bit more later. So your work has been described as helping organizations build safe and inclusive environments. Can you share a success story where compassionate accountability made a significant impact on a company's culture or performance?
Absolutely. We know that people want to work in an environment where they feel safe, where they can contribute, where they can, if they make a mistake, we learn and grow from that mistake, and where we know what to expect every day. One of the one of the organizations in America is called the YMCA, and I believe it's an international organization that supports community wellness and health and women. And our regional YMCA brought us in to help them develop their culture because their strategic initiatives are to have a culture where everyone feels safe and included, where diversity is embraced. But also, the YMCA has very high standards for quality and for consistency. And so their leaders were struggling on how do we hold the standards, but how do we also build a safe place where people feel included and there's great relationships. And so they have a very people first mission but also want to have very high quality. So we started with a keynote presentation I did for their whole organization to get the concepts, get people excited about this concept. And then we followed up with leadership training to help the leaders build confidence to be able to have difficult conversations and embrace their strategy in a way that built trust and engagement, and it also achieved high results. And they are already seeing more quality, more consistency, and more caring in their culture.
Mm. So the key is here, what I hear is having the difficult conversations with compassionate mindset, right?
Well, absolutely, because the only way to move from compassion to accountability is conflict. Conflict is necessary. It's we can't avoid it. It's we have to learn how to do it well. And most people think concept conflict is the enemy, but actually, conflict is not the enemy. Drama is the enemy. Conflict is just energy, and it has a lot of potential to increase trust, build intimacy, and invite people to higher levels of performance.
That is why there are, lessons about conflicts in the universities, and people are graduating from them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So, in your books, also, you're talking about compassionate accountability. You have one called Seeing People Through, one Conflict Without Casualties, and Beyond Drama. You discussed the importance of balancing compassion and accountability in leadership. Could you share an example from your work or personal experience where applying compassionate accountability made a significant difference in resolving a conflict or improving a team's dynamic?
Absolutely. I will share a personal example and also a professional example. I am a father of three daughters. I have three children, and we have used these tools. My wife and I, we've used these tools with our children uh, all along because with children, we want to teach them to have high standards, to embrace excellence, and to work hard and to follow through on their promises. We also want our children to have strong relationships. We want to know that we love them no matter what. We want them to feel safe, to come to us with what is most important, and to not be afraid of us. And so we use this tool all the time. And recently, my youngest daughter, she plays volleyball, competitive volleyball in college. And it's a very competitive sport. It's very difficult. And sometimes the relationships between players and with the coach can be very challenging. And so, very often, she talks to us about those challenges, and we help coach her on how do you have these hard conversations with your roommates and with your coach and with your teachers where you embrace the relationship and you also have the necessary conflict to make sure the most important things are happening and that you are advocating for your values, advocating for your dignity. So it's been very rewarding as she has grown up and is maturing and becoming her own person to see her use these tools in her own relationships. Professionally, we certify and support a global network of certified trainers and coaches who use our assessments and use our tools. And every one of our trainers is unique. Everyone has their own life, their own needs. It's personal. And also, we have global standards. So every one of those trainers must comply with particular standards of fidelity and protecting our intellectual property and following the protocols. And so often we have to have conversations with them, and sometimes there's conflict. So we use these tools to be able to maintain a relationship where they know we care about them as human beings. And we also are adhering to the highest standards of quality and fidelity around the world. And when we are able to have that healthy conflict, it brings us closer together. They're more loyal and we get better results.
That's beautiful how you talk about your personal life with your daughters. Once you learn about these tools, if you don't apply it to your own family, what's the point, right? So it's very unique to have a, authentic tool to use in your family also.
It is. And my poor children, they're like guinea pigs. We're always practicing on them. they're like science research project with us. But my youngest daughter is studying to become a teacher, and she's
Mm,
learning all of the principles about how to manage a classroom and how to um, get students to participate and to behave. And she told us the other day, she said, "Mom and Dad, I know now what you were doing when I was little. Now I recognize the way you communicated with me because I'm learning about it in school now." And so it feels good when they appreciate that.
that's really nice. So
Mm.
I'm the first child of my family. My husband also first child, and I think the biggest guinea pigs are the first childs of the mothers
Yes,
and fathers. And
for
I can
sure.
feel it for my first child also. I have two daughters too, and I
Oh,
know I made a lot of mistakes with my first one.
we practice on them.
Yes. So my next question, you mentioned that 94% of your clients find your tools more effective than anything they've used before. What do you think sets compassionate accountability apart from other leadership or conflict resolutions methods?
Mm. Thank you for asking that because from the beginning, when we started Next Element, we care about measuring results. We believe that our clients deserve to have measurable results. They're investing their time, they're investing their resources, their money, and we want to be able to show real outcomes. So we've collected over 20,000 data points from our own work and the work of our affiliate providers around the world, and we ask them to compare the compassion and accountability framework. We ask them to compare that to other models that they have used. And we don't do this because we want to criticize the competition. We simply do this to know how we compare. And like I said, about 94% of our clients say this is the most powerful tool they've ever used. And here's why. We ask them why, and they tell us. First of all, practical utility. It works in the messy day to day interactions that matter most. Conversations with our children, with our spouses, conversations with our clients. Um, the second reason is that it is focused on behavior. This is real observable behaviors. A lot of people are frustrated with theories and models that talk about theory, but they don't really help you know what to do in the moment that we can see. And finally, impact. Our clients tell us that it works. It actually works. And the more you practice, the better it gets.
So, yeah, as a researcher, as a professor in the university, you're more into the researching part, this data part of the next element. I love the results, and I think uh, having this kind of results is the most important part. That you know that you're on the right path, right?
Well, yes, and I'm a behavioral psychologist, a clinical psychologist by training, and so it's important to me to be able to measure behavior and to be able to do what works. We are asking our clients to invest their time and energy, and they deserve to have results.
Yeah. So, according to your results, again, with over 70% improvement in leadership skills and teamwork reported by your clients, what are some key indicators you use to measure the effectiveness of compassionate accountability in an organization?
Yeah, the first thing we measure is whether our clients are using the tools properly. And we coach them, we have them practice during simulations, and we have them use our tools in real life situations and show us what they're doing. And then often when we're doing coaching, we can coach in real life situations so we can see it working when it matters. But beyond the numbers, when it comes to teamwork, we want to know, do team members trust each other more? Do they engage more with each other? Do they support each other? Do they hold each other accountable more? So we want to know qualitative data on that. When it comes to leadership skills, we care a lot about, do leaders feel more confident and competent in their skills? Because a lot of leaders don't feel confident to be a leader, and their employees notice it. Their employees want to feel confident, but sometimes they don't. And then finally, with culture, is the culture safe? Do people feel like they can bring their full self to work? Is the culture curious? Do people believe that their leaders are actually interested in them and actually care and want to know how they're doing? And then is the culture consistent? Because if we don't know what to expect from day to day, things can become very chaotic and very unpredictable. And so we track these things, and it very often coincides with the KPIs that the organization is already measuring, like engagement, productivity, retention, or customer satisfaction.
All the things you said leads to the topic of psychological safety. And I know
Mm.
you're going to write an article for us for our next
Yes.
issue. Would you like to talk about a little bit about this psychological safety?
Yeah, psychological safety is an interesting phenomenon. Amy Edmondson first started writing about it and researching it, and lots of companies are studying it now. We know that when people feel psychologically safe, they bring they are more engaged, they're more honest, they're more involved, and it improves business results. But psychological safety is challenging to build, challenging to create, and it's everyone is part of that process. One of the things I talk about is that psychological safety and feeling comfortable are not the same thing. We can be uncomfortable and feel challenged, and that doesn't mean that we're not safe.
Mhm.
And so sometimes people, when they're feeling uncomfortable, they say, well, I don't feel safe. And that's just an excuse. And so we help people understand the difference between that. And I like to write about that. And then the other thing I might mention is that often people say, well, I can't have conflict until it's psychologically safe, until I trust you. And I might say, well, how can I trust you if you don't have conflict with me? And so, which comes first, conflict or trust, psychological safety or compassionate accountability? So, we write a lot about these issues, and the article that we're working on for you will talk about that.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're writing about it because a lot of the people who start their career, they don't feel, very safe with their managers, CEOs, or even the one level upper person that they are working with, and it affects the quality of their work
Yeah.
and yeah, the comfort and everything. And it is very important to understand the distinction between the two. So my last
Yeah. Yeah.
question. You worked with a diverse range of industries from healthcare to manufacturing. How do you tailor compassionate accountability to meet the specific needs and challenges of different sectors?
Yes. We get asked that a lot. And one of the things I like to say is whenever two or more people are trying to get something done, that is our sweet spot. So every industry in the world, two or more people are trying to get something done.
Mhm.
If I was alone on a desert island, I can do it however I want to. But as soon as another person shows up, now we have to work together in order to be successful. So we have a lot of experience in healthcare, just kind of by luck over time. We have a lot of experience in manufacturing, but we're finding that our framework is resonating around the world in many different industries. Sometimes industries are more tilted towards the compassion side, like healthcare, nonprofits, maybe faith-based organizations. But some, like manufacturing, are much more towards the accountability side. And no matter which side they go on, they need both in order to be successful. I was just speaking the other day with the CEO from a consulting firm in South Africa, and he grew up in post-apartheid South Africa, and is he's aware of all of the lingering economic, political, and racial divides that plague South Africa's history, and yet his work in multiple sectors is exactly the same kind of work we do. He says people are people, and we find that to be true around the world.
Yes. Thank you so much. And is there any last message which would you like to share with with our audience?
Ah, well, I guess right now in our world, I don't know that we've ever had more volatility, political issues, wars, diversity, immigration. There are so many challenges that we're facing with. And I think it all comes back to diversity of thought, diversity of personality, where we come from, our value systems, our faith systems. And I truly believe that diversity is the greatest gift of humanity. It's what makes nature work. And so, because of that, there are going to be differences and disagreements. There's going to be conflict. And so, I have to believe that conflict has a purpose and that the purpose of conflict is to create. We are here to create. And so, we have to learn. We must learn to use that conflict energy in the most positive way to bring out the best in humanity. And so, for us, compassionate accountability is the solution for that. And we believe it's the next differentiator, and it is the new core competency for leadership in our world.
And how one can reach to you if they are interested in your work? How can they connect with you?
Yes, we've spoken very conceptually today, but there is a real proven method behind the work that we do. And you can go to our website, next-element.com, and find out all about our framework and methodology and how you can get trained, how you can get certified, how you can bring it to your company. You can also get access to our books and learn all about our framework there.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. We are thrilled to have you with us and look forward to collaborating on more projects in the future. It was a pleasure hearing your insightful answers. We appreciate your support. And for our audience, don't miss out on this captivating 5 o'clock tea talk. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more insightful sessions. For more great content, visit thecoachmagazine.com and enjoy our quarterly magazines. See you there. See you in our next 5 o'clock tea talk. Thank you, Nate.
You're welcome.